Hello there folks, and welcome to another video here on the FM Scout YouTube channel. My name is Luke, and today we're going to have a look at another 10 people, 10 players from 5 years in the future. So this database, which I did a video for right at the beginning of the beta, absolutely went mental. You guys seem to love it, and so many comments wanted to see other players. You guys listed some players, you guys wanted to see if there was anyone else, you wanted to see the database and all that good stuff. So I'm actually going to bring to you 10 more players. A lot of these have been requested, a couple of these are gems which I missed out from the last video, so don't worry, there won't be any overlapping players from the last video. These will be 10 brand new players for you to look at. So the first player we have on our screen here is Bruno Sapele. He is an Argentinian midfielder, an attacking midfielder, and he's currently at Arsenal. Very good stats indeed. Only classed as an attacking midfielder by media description, but I'd say he's slightly better than that. Has some very good attributes, especially his mentals for the age of 22. Is absolutely extraordinary. Arsenal did get him from River Plate for 7.5 million. He had a very good season. The season before we are looking at here, 8 goals and 10 assists. Only one player of the match from in the Premier League from midfield. And to be honest, I think you could probably get this guy very cheap at the start of the game. And by the age of 22, on this save anyway, he's worth 61 million. So Bruno Sapele, the first one on the list, and rightfully so. Probably a bargain that you can make a lot of money from. Next up, we have Mason Greenwood here, a player who a lot of people wanted to see what he looked like. He's still at Manchester United on this save, worth 75 million and bringing in a wage of 375 grand a week. I'm pretty sure Mason Greenwood would be very happy with that in 5 years' time. He's classed as an elite attacking midfielder, which does surprise me. I'm wondering whether Manchester United have been playing him in different positions, maybe from what he is used to. Am I able to see positions? There we go. So he has actually been playing on this right hand side, it seems, a lot more than his normal natural position of a striker. But as you can see, if you were to put him up front, he's going to be absolutely immense. The physicals, the acceleration, the pace and the agility, fitting that with the finishing of 18, the dribbling and fast touch of 16. A very well-rounded striker, if you ask me. 5'11", so he's not at all small whatsoever. Runs down the ball with the right, moves into channels, places shots. Is quite a tricky player as well, with a good technique and good flair. So if you ask me, Mason Greenwood is an exceptionally good player on this game in a few years' time. But you probably knew that already. 13 goals in the previous season from 35 games with 4 assists. If he's playing out on that right-hand side, I'd expect to see a little bit more assists, but maybe cutting in on his left foot, maybe that's what he's doing. But overall, very good ratings as well. So his attributes are brilliant, his stats are good, his ratings are brilliant. Mason Greenwood, no surprises here, is an exceptionally good player in 5 years' time. Another man that everyone wanted to see in the comments from the first video is Ryan Gravenberch. Of course, last year came on the scene as a very good wonder kid, and this year is pretty much similar. He's not exceptional, but he is pretty damn good if you ask me. A very well-rounded physical stats there. Mentals could do with a little bit of a bolster, but it's the technicals where you'd expect to see him flourish, and he has done just that, just like he did in FM19. So a very attacking-minded midfielder, as you can see here by his attribute analysis. Good dribbling, good fast touch, only 9 finishing, so don't expect too many goals, but the passing and the technique is going to be a bit more of a creative player rather than finisher. 6'3", so he is a stature of a man. 27 million, he's still at Ajax, and he's been doing okay. Hasn't been doing amazing, although it doesn't look like they played him a lot in the first few years. So really he's only broke into the first team the season before last, and then the season before this, that's when he sort of cemented his place. 2 goals, 5 assists. So maybe if you take a chance on Ryan Gravenberch, play him a little bit earlier than what he's been played here, you could get a little bit more out of him in 5 years' time. Another one from the requested pile, Florentino Luis. A great player, if you ask me. An elite midfielder. Comes from Benfica to begin with, and Manchester City on this save have bought him for £59 million. So you have the very good technicals, but not exceptionally good. But it's really the mentals where Florentino Luis cements himself as one of the upper echelons of the game. Very good in defence and the mentals and the physicals. So a holding midfielder is what you will be purchasing from Florentino. And if you ask me, there isn't many better on this game than Florentino Luis. So if you can prize him away from Benfica, depending on what you pay for him, it might be well worth your while. The fifth player on this list is Emmanuel Riviere, currently at Manchester United on this game for 73 million he is worth. They purchased him actually off Tottenham Hotspur this season, who they got him from Southampton, who bought him from Chievo Verona for 27 million. So he's been in the Premier League for a while, for a fair few years. It looks like the first season, in fact. That's when they bought him at January after having a very good start to the game. So Vignato turns into an elite winger, as you can see here. Tries some tricks, cuts in from both wings, runs the ball often, so he has good dribbling ability with 16, the agility of 18, balance of 16, a pacey player, and it does look like he is one of these players who, if you do get your hands on and you use him right and he stays away from injury, a very good winger indeed. The number 7 for Manchester United, a lot of big names in the past has had that shirt, the number 7 shirt in red, and this time it goes to Emmanuel Riviere. A lot of Birmingham fans commented on the last video saying they wanted to see their man Jude Bellingham, and here he is. Unfortunately, you were unable to keep hold of him. However, Manchester City did pick him up and loaned him out to Arsenal. So that is very bizarre. They actually picked him up in the second season, for £29 million. They've used him quite a lot, considering how young he is. He's still only 21 years of age, so he's going to improve, and probably going to improve into a lot better player. The physicals are there okay already. The mental stats, of course, with more game time and with more years behind him, will improve. It's just these technicals I'm unsure about. I don't know whether he will turn into an elite player because of those technicals. I'm still unsure about that. But still, Jude Bellingham, if you manage to get hold of him for a mid-table Premier League side, I don't think you can go much wrong with signing him, that's for sure. A very good midfielder, an English midfielder from Birmingham City. The 7th person on this list is Yerry Yerry, another player who was asked a lot by in the comments to see, as well as people on the social medias. They wanted to see this guy, an attacking Belgium midfielder, and he hasn't actually left Anderlecht yet. So he's done exceptionally well as well. 21 assists, which I'd imagine is probably about a Belgian league record, the Jupiler Pro League. So he's done exceptionally well. The stats are still there. I'm wondering whether if you manage to pick him up at a bigger club and he plays in a better league with maybe better facilities. I don't know what Anderlecht's facilities is actually like, but I'm wondering whether if he played in a better league with better facilities, whether he will even improve even more than this and become the elite attacking midfielder he looks like he has the potential to become. 23 years old, sort of good mentals. Yeah, I'm happy with those mentals. It's just these technicals again, very similar to Jude Bellingham. The 16 passing and technique and the first touch is very good for a playmaker role, I'd suppose. I'd rather him have a slightly better finishing or long shots, though, to be an attacking midfielder, if you ask me. But the physicals is what lets me down on this player. Not very good balance. The strength of only 10. I don't know. I'm unsure about Yerry Yerry, but maybe for you, if you use him early and you give him a lot of game time, he could improve massively and become an elite player. The 8th man on this list is Mohammed Ibrahim, and he is a Dutchman, and I believe he starts off at PSV Eindhoven, I am correct. £33 million Bayern Munich picked him up for in the first couple of seasons. Haven't used him fully yet. PSV did give him a full season, it looks like, with a very good outcome. 9 assists that he gave them. And he made his move to Bayern Munich, and he's been really on the cusp. He's classed as an elite attacking midfielder, which I find quite interesting, as I don't see him as that with the attributes. Of course, great vision and attacking and speed around this side. It is the mental side of things that I'm worried about with Ibrahim. I think maybe a couple of years, he's only 22, maybe after a couple of years, when he reaches 26, these mentals would have improved. You might have a little bit more on the technicals as well, and you could really find yourself a player, maybe someone you can pick up quite cheap at the start of the game. Who knows, maybe have a look at him in your saves. The 9th player on this list is Sebastiano Esposito, an Italian player who actually starts off at Inter Milan and, as you can see, develops into quite an interesting striker, if you ask me. Quite an all-rounder as well. Hasn't quite reached the elite status that I'd imagine a striker would get to, but I'm quite happy with the stats. The physicals are outstanding, especially when you put 15 as an excellent attribute. It really does stand out that his physicals are very good, which is the reason why I do that. And I did mention that in my tips video, just in case you missed that. That I do think changing that does make this player look a lot better. The mentals could be working with. I want to see a little bit better with the off the ball for a striker, if you ask me, in my opinion. But 6'1", a towering presence, and he's still quite fast and quite agile, is very tasty, if you ask me. The heading could be a little better with only 13, and jumping reach of only 13 as well. But the dribbling, finishing, first touch, all very good for me. He knocks balls past the opponents. He can cut in from both wings and runs with the ball often. So quite a tricky player too. Not a bad striker. If I have a look at his stats, he's actually done all right. 25 goals in 33 games here in this season is nothing to be snuffed out about. A drop off massively in the second season after this, but if you ask me, you can't deny those stats are phenomenal. 11 goals so far in this campaign in 20 games with a great rating as well. So Sebastiano Esposito, have a look at him, see if he'll fit your squad. And finally, 10th position on this list goes to a number 10 and a player who I absolutely loved in FM19. I missed him off the list because of how popular he was last season, but we had a couple of people who wanted to see him, and understandably why. Thiago Armada, or Almeida, I don't really know. Can any Argentinian people let me know how to actually pronounce that? But you guys probably picked him up in your saves last year. This season is exactly the same. Valencia picked him up 5.75 million, an absolute bargain, and then sold him 3 years later for 86 million to Tottenham Hotspur. He has repaid Tottenham Hotspur back with some good stats. 9 goals, 12 assists in the second season there is a big standout, if you ask me, and some very good average ratings. All in all, though, his attributes is absolutely phenomenal. Dribbling 17, first touch 17. The long shots are very good too. He can take free kicks and corners, so a set piece master, especially with his penalty taking of 16. The passing 17, technique 17, off the ball 17, flair 17. The physicals, they are beautiful to look at as well. That agility of 19, very small and agile player at 5'8", but he's still quite strong. So he reminds me of like a Xherdan Shaqiri. Very bulky, small play. Runs through the ball with the ball through the centre, gets into the opposition area, which is where he scores quite a few goals. He's got a good finishing of 14 as well. That's nothing to be snuffed at for a cam. Moves into channels as well if you like him. I do think as well he can play across that midfield. He can. So not a bad little player if you ask me. And all in all, I'm really excited to try Thiago Armada or Thiago Armada in my save, and I think you probably will be too. So there we go then. That is the list of 10 more Wonderkids in 5 years' time. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I'll manage to cover all of the players that you have been suggesting. Drop a like on the video if you can, that would be fantastic. I know it probably won't reach the heights as what the last video did, but if you could get it anywhere near close, that would be brilliant. Leave a comment down below if there's any other players you'd like to see in the future. And if you are looking for some Let's Play action, you can head on over to my channel, Omega Luke Gaming. We have the Rossoneri Rising, a very good AC Milan save going on right now. And when the full game comes out, I'm actually going to be a new kind of journeyman save, but only restricted to the 5 countries of Scandinavia. So I'm going to try and conquer the Scandinavian League. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, you'd like to come over and join me, you are more than welcome to. There's a link in the description down below. Come on over, drop me a sub, show me some love, and I'll be very welcoming to have you over on my channel. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you on the next one.